Here's the whole point about blackouts. You don't think it could happen to you? You better think again.
I remember just thinking I'm pretty close to the surface, I better kick pretty hard, and then I just remember dreaming after I started kicking.
Kicking up to the surface, and I think somewhere between 5-10 seconds, and last thing I remember,
sort of just seeing a light, just, you know, like a little blank light.
What do you remember about that particular dive?
I remember diving down, and it was a really big ledge, a nice ledge, with a lot of relief, and I dove down and I just saw a big Jewfish down there. Then I saw more and more, and I was just sitting down there, and they were feeding on little fish, so I was just mesmerized. And I remember being down there and being like, I've been down here pretty long, I better go up. I don't really have to breathe yet, but I better head up. And on the way up, I just remember kicking really hard and then dreaming.
I was breathing up and I was about to dive down, and I saw a gun sinking down to the bottom with nobody attached to it. And then when I looked over, and then Mike was like face down in the water, limp, just not moving. So then I knew he blacked out.
So what did you do then?
I swam over to him, I took his mask off his face and kind of like propped him up out of the water just so he'd be able to breathe. And then like, I heard him gargling and everything, so it was almost like a Heimlich I did and water came out. I did that like about 2 times, and then he finally regained consciousness.
Mike, what?
And
Dude,
it was like he
what?
woke up from a
Blacked
dream.
out, bro.
It was like, if you woke somebody up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Just, he didn't have a clue what was going on.
What's the first thing you thought when you woke up?
I just remember Keegan screaming at my name, and I woke up hearing my name being screamed. And then I remember him yelling at Kyle and Clint to go get the boat. And then I swam, the boat pulled up, I swam back over there and hopped up on the boat, and we weren't really sure what to do. Like, they were thinking about going to another dive spot, and then they called people and they said to get me to the emergency room, so we ran in as fast as we could.
So David, what was the day like?
Speared a lot of fish, and it was pretty fun too. You know, we discussed guys. We had a lot of fun, you know, talking and stuff. It was the bottom, and that was so easy. You know, it really wasn't much different than, you know, diving on a 30-foot reef. It was, you know, just you swim down and you're already there, and it was just no challenge. And so I thought, you know, that we gotta try something a little bit harder than that.
The anchor was probably about 80 feet, and we were 90 feet of water. So we were on the way down. I saw the anchor and I saw the bottom, and it's right there. So we got to touch the bottom. We just might as well while we're down this deep. And I touched it, and David was right behind me, and he touched the bottom. And then that's when we gave each other a thumbs up, and we
started heading back up to the surface. I remember sort of spinning around while I was swimming up to find the chain. Then I started following up, and I only remember kicking for about just a few more seconds, and then that's when I remember sort of just seeing a light.
And started heading on up, and I have a little stronger, a little faster, so I was ahead of him a little bit, and I could start seeing the color change in the water. You just know the feel for when you're getting near the surface. And I, for some reason, one last look down to see what's going on, if David's behind me, and he had stopped moving. So I had turned around and gone back down to see why he'd stopped, and he was just not responding to me. So I grabbed him around the waist and started kicking up to the surface. And I think somewhere between 5-10 seconds, and last thing I remember, next thing I know, I'm in the back of the boat.
So what did you think when you saw him floating on the surface?
I thought just the scariest thing in my life. I never thought death could be so close.
Robert! Stick back.
Carson dragged Robert over the back of the boat, and then Carson got on the boat to help me bring David along the side of the boat because there was no space on the back, so we just had to pull him straight off of the side, just like dead weight over the side of the boat. Well, this was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life because they were both lifeless. No talking, just about two guys in your arms, dead, not breathing, their face purple, lips purple, eyes wide open.
Man, come on, Robert. Come on, Robert. Come on, Robert. Where's my freaking fin?
Here's the whole point about blackouts. You don't think it could happen to you? You better think again. So what can we do? Take a professional freedive class and be trained in CPR. Watch over each other and remember that a pool can be a very dangerous place too. Adjust your weights so you float up from 30 feet and don't hesitate to drop them if you get in trouble. Don't hyperventilate to excess. Avoid strenuous activity underwater and come up early if you exerted. Get plenty of rest between dives. Most important, dive with a buddy. Keep an eye on each other, one up, one down. After all, this is supposed to be fun.